wasn't home to make videos about it. But the WNBA have basically responded to the players saying that they want to get 25% with a hell no. With a hell no. If you guys are interested in all this saga, please, lads, please, we're losing badly right now. We're losing badly. We've been trying to fight 57.2K, and dear Lord.
The WNBA just dropped a public statement that essentially told their players absolutely not to their latest contract proposal. And we're not talking about a polite decline in a closed-door meeting. This was a full public rejection, posted for everyone to see. The league called the players' demands unrealistic and warned it would cost them hundreds of millions of dollars. So how did we get here? And what does this mean for the 2026 season that's supposed to start in less than 2 months?
To come, I mean this when I say this. I think the players are well within their right to ask for 25%. If we weren't this close to it. Asking for 25% up to 27 when they were already turned down on that, realistically is not going to happen. And I actually don't think that, I don't think in general that the players have to be the one to go to that, to go down. Because let's just say the players go down to 20, which I think somewhere between 20 and 22, it'll get signed off on. Like, they want 25%.
Here's the specific breakdown. The Players Association is asking for 25% of gross revenue. The league countered by saying that proposal would bankrupt teams. But here's what makes this complicated. The players originally wanted 40%. They've already come down 15 percentage points from their opening position. Meanwhile, the league started at offering what amounts to roughly 16% based on their $5.6 million salary cap proposal. So when people say the players are being unrealistic, they've actually already cut their ask by more than a third.
I don't like what the league's doing here, by the way. Like, for everyone being like, oh, you're on the league side, no. I thought that what the players did was bullshit. The players going on social media, calling their relationship with the WNBA a situationship, going and telling them to write angry emails to Cathy Engelbert. Like, all of that. I do actually think the league have been in the wrong. That being said, there are a lot of situations where the players have been in the wrong. There's a lot of situations where the league's in the wrong. And this is a situation where the league...
The real sticking point is what percentage of revenue the league itself actually controls. According to the revenue structure, the WNBA only receives about 42% of gross revenue after paying out to all the individual team owners and stakeholders. So when players ask for 40% of gross revenue, they're essentially asking for nearly all of what the league office gets to keep. That's why the initial proposal was dead on arrival. But 25%? That's a different conversation, and the league's immediate public rejection instead of a counterproposal is what's escalating this situation.
Like, it is what it is. But the league going back and instead of giving a counterproposal, immediately going on social media and saying, no, this is unrealistic. Because I'm sorry, like, I get it. The gross revenue number, because of the revenue structure of the league, you're never going to get gross revenue. And the number is a little bit high. And I understand with the revenue structure of the league, the individual people that own smaller bits of the pie, the more money, the larger percentage of players get, the less chance they have of getting any return on their investments. I understand all of that.
Now, watch what happens when we talk about the strategy. Both sides are using. The players went public first, posting on social media, calling their relationship with the league a situationship, and encouraging fans to send angry emails to Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. That was a calculated move to apply public pressure. It was also, frankly, pretty unprofessional. You don't negotiate through Instagram posts and email campaigns, but here's the thing. The league just did the exact same thing. Instead of countering with a number, they released a public statement calling the proposal unrealistic. They're negotiating through press releases now too. So both sides have abandoned private negotiation for public posturing, and that's how you end up with a potential strike.
Like, do the league not have some way of kind of countering quick? My hope is that they counter back, because we're now at the stage where the league holding out and not saying anything for 6 weeks because they deem they want the players to have to put in something better is big. I genuinely think this is the way it'll get sorted. League goes to 20%. Players go to 22%. We're good. We're good. That would be it. And you might be saying that, oh, it means the players have conceded half of what they initially wanted. Dude.
Let's talk about what a realistic compromise actually looks like. The players want a $9.5 million salary cap. The league offered $5.6 million. The players have now adjusted down to asking for a cap that would come from 25% of revenue. Here's the prediction that makes sense. They'll land somewhere between 20 and 22%, which translates to roughly a $7.5 million salary cap. That's not splitting the difference arbitrarily. That's where the math works for both sides. The league doubles what they initially offered. The players get less than half of what they originally wanted, but significantly more than the current structure.
I think that was just... The reality is that going down to 20 means the players have half what they wanted, but the owners have given double what they wanted to give out. $7.5 million salary cap would be crazy to turn down. It'd be crazy to turn down. And I think this is a huge risk when it comes down to it for the WNBA players, because unlike a lot of other leagues, they have somewhere to go. Like I hate to say this, but like if the NBA shuts down, EuroLeague pay so much money that players are going to be making the millions. I mean this when I say this. People all think, people are saying Stewie's going to make $1 million. If Stewie is making more than 100K,
But here's why this matters beyond just the numbers. Unlike NBA players, WNBA players have somewhere else to go if this league shuts down. Europe pays decent money, not millions for most players, but enough to make a living. When we talk about the risk calculation here, think about a solid rotation player like Emily Engstler. Under a $7.5 million cap structure, she's looking at making $300,000 to $400,000 per year for the next 8 years of her career. That's real money, potentially $2 million total. But if the WNBA folds, she's making $60,000 in Europe, maybe less. The superstars like Breanna Stewart might get six-figure overseas contracts, but the middle class of the WNBA loses everything if this league disappears.
She's going to make $2 million maybe for the rest of her career. She's going to stick around the league. She's going to stick around the league. But like, if she goes to Europe, she's making $60K. Like, you look at that where it's like the league shutting down because I'm going to talk about this later, but the league is shutting down. Like, you've even seen it, like No Cap Space basically has said a thing being like, should the WNBA even exist? Because like, is the problem the current revenue structure and should it exist? And I mean this when I say this, like, that is a valid argument. That is a valid argument. Because like, again, if there's a strike, it's done. There's not going to be a league. It's as simple as that. If the strike is performative and it lasts a short amount of time, okay. But if the strike obviously lasts going into 2-3 months, or the strike lasts more than the season, it's just done. There's no point even worrying about it. Like, the league's over.
And that brings us to the uncomfortable question that's starting to circulate in basketball media circles. Should the WNBA even exist in its current form? That's not a dismissive question or some anti-women's basketball take. It's a legitimate structural question about whether the current revenue-sharing model between the league office and individual team owners is sustainable. When you have a league where the central office only controls 42% of gross revenue, and you're trying to negotiate player salaries as a percentage of gross revenue, the math gets impossible very quickly. The individual team owners who control smaller pieces of the pie see their potential return on investment shrinking with every percentage point that goes to players.
Are playing for Team USA and that's it. Get excited for the World Cup. Because if you are a Caitlin Clark fan, you're probably you may never see Caitlin Clark play another game of pro basketball again. Like, there is a world where that happens. I don't think it's a likelihood, but I don't think she plays in AU. I don't think she plays in a Rivals, and I don't think anyone's going to be able to set up another league in the next, 8 months or so. In the next 8 months to get, have her playing in it. So anyway, yeah.
So here's what happens if there's a strike. If it's performative and lasts a week or two, the league survives. Fans get angry, but everyone comes back. But if this drags into months, if the 2026 season doesn't happen, the league is done. Not struggling, not rebuilding, done. There won't be a 2027 season to look forward to. Caitlin Clark fans who've been following her career need to understand something. If this season gets canceled, you might never see her play professional basketball again. She's not going to Europe. She's not playing in a startup league that doesn't exist yet. She'll play for Team USA in international competitions, and that's it. The stakes here are existential. The players know it, the league knows it. And that's why this public negotiation strategy from both sides is so dangerous. When you're negotiating through press releases and social media posts instead of conference rooms, you're performing for your respective audiences rather than actually solving the problem. The players want fan support to pressure the league. The league wants to show the players they won't be bullied by public campaigns. But here's what both sides seem to be missing. The fans don't care about negotiation tactics. They care about watching basketball. And every day this drags on without a real counterproposal, without actual negotiation happening, is a day closer to losing the momentum the WNBA built in 2025. Record ratings, sold-out arenas, massive corporate sponsorship deals, expansion teams paying $50 million entry fees. All of that evaporates if there's no season. The path forward is obvious. League goes to 20%. Players come down to 22. You negotiate the final 2 percentage points over a weekend and announce a deal. $7.5 million salary cap, significant raises for everyone, and you preserve the league's growth trajectory. That's the smart play. But smart plays require both sides to stop performing for their audiences and start actually negotiating. The league needs to put a counterproposal on the table instead of just saying no. The players need to stop with the social media campaigns and sit down for real talks, because right now, we're watching two sides play chicken with the entire future of women's professional basketball in America. And if neither side blinks, if we actually get to a strike that cancels the season, then all of this, everything the WNBA has built over 25 years, all the momentum from Caitlin Clark's rookie season, all the new fans and corporate sponsors and media attention, it all disappears. You can't get that back. You can't rebuild momentum after you've shown fans that the league is willing to shut down over a few percentage points in a revenue split. So the question isn't whether the players deserve 25% or whether the league's offer of 16% is fair. The question is whether both sides are willing to risk everything over the difference. Because that's what's on the table right now. Not just money, not just this season, the entire future of the league. And if you're a fan of women's basketball, that should terrify you. Let me know in the comments what you think the final deal looks like, or if you even think we'll get a deal at all.